there were two distinct apostles who were so different from one another. And the one was Peter. Peter was a Jew, but he really never went through the school of thoughts of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So he was not a religious Jew. In fact, by history, he was a zealot. So zealots they had trained themselves. They were almost like a military. They were an army, and they were somewhere in the jungle training that when the Messiah comes, they'll be the army to the Messiah. So he was a little barbaric, he was very rough in the edges. He was not a religious scholar. And then there was Paul. Paul was a Pharisee, and in fact, he was in the highest ranks of the Pharisees, well taught in the law. When God raises these two men, he sends Paul to the Gentiles, and he sends Peter to the Jews. Naturally, because of their makeup, you would think Paul will be in the synagogue arguing and preaching to the Jews. And God says, no, you are going to be an apostle to the Gentiles. It's almost as if God sends him a different direction from his own wiring. And he sends Peter the other direction. He sends him right into the Jews. Completely different from how he is wired. And the Holy Spirit has a tendency to allow for you to stand in places that are uncomfortable for you. And it's going to use, and look at this. It's part of the crushing process. It's part of the pressure, because a lot of us live under the delusion and the lie that we are certain type of people. And God says, no, you are not that type of person. In fact, you are contrary to who you think you are. Imagine you are a whole introvert, and God says, I've called you to speak before thousands. A whole introvert. God has a sense of humor. And it gives him joy, by the way, just to watch you squirm before people trying to say, where am I even going to... Because that joy for him is the crushing of the grapes, is the joy of the winepress. That in those moments he crushes you, so that the beauty of who he is, and you would know that whatever that I do is never on the basis of how well I am trained, but is on the basis of the one who gives me strength. It is pressure turned into blessing.